Can somebody hear my audio? We're gonna start in a couple minutes. Be right back. Gonna get a drink. All right. If this works, it's 3 o'clock, which means we're starting on time. And it also means that the audio is working, which is the first time in history of this channel that things actually work and everything seems to be working on online. I'm happy about that. Sorry about the hum. Trying to fix the hum. It's not perfect yet. All right. Well, looks like folks are showing up. Nice to see some familiar folks, some familiar avatars. Alex Schwartz has a very good comment that I'm really curious about also. If somebody ever manages to run a different OS on the iPad, on the brand new iPad that has the M1 processor, I'm just curious about the M1 processor on the iPad. Can you start coding on it? Can you write code and use it as a laptop with a touch screen? I mean, it's pretty much a MacBook Air at this point, right? But just has a touch screen. That'd be kind of nice. So, waiting to see folks do that. I've done some looking around the internet. I can't find anybody that's done that yet, so we'll see. All right. So we're gonna start. Background music, huh? Yeah, I haven't figured out the background music situation yet. Not sure how I would add that in. I guess one of these laptops could be playing it. I suppose we could do that maybe next time. So I want to keep this a little bit short today, maybe half an hour or so, but I want it to be focused. And what are we doing today? Well, we're going to be doing Golang test, Go test. I think it's called Go. Now, I'm not a Go user. In fact, this is the first time I'm trying it out. And this is based on one of the folks that's actually here in the chat left me a comment not too long ago. Lucas, thanks for that. So I might ask you to help me out if there's some things I'm messing up on here. But what I did was run this test and it seems to have worked. What I did not do yet is actually compare the speeds of this to my Intel MacBook Pro. So what are we working with today? We've got the MacBook Air with the M1 chip. This is what I've been doing a lot of my tests on. And I've got my Intel Core i9 machine over here, and MacBook Pro, the 16-inch MacBook Pro. We're going to be doing the exact same test, which is the official benchmark test that Lucas suggested I do. So here we are on the Intel Core i9 machine. This is the URL for that. Actually, there's a shorter URL for that. It's just golang.org/x/benchmarks. If you go to that, it'll just redirect to this place right here. I still need to do the installation on this machine, but I've already installed it on my M1, and I'm going to show you a couple of different packages. The default package, which is really interesting, the default package, when I install this on the M1, this is my M1 machine now, it automatically installs the AMD 64 package. It doesn't detect that you are running on an ARM machine and give you that download. When you just go to the regular download page and you click download, it gets you the AMD version. So you have to go to the downloads by stable versions and actually pick the ARM 64 based installer here. All right, I've got both of them. You know why I got both of them? Here's the AMD one and the ARM 64 one. I got both of them because I'm really curious to see how they differ. How do they differ running on the Apple M1? Is the ARM version going to be significantly faster on the Apple M1 than the AMD version running under Rosetta? My guess is, of course, it's going to be faster, but how much faster? And then we're also going to check to see the Intel variety and see the speed compared to that. Actually, we're going to start with the Intel because I need to install it on that too. All right, let's getting started here. We're going to download. This is the button I was talking about earlier, this download button. If you click on that on the Mac M1, it's going to get you the AMD version. So here I'm going to click on more. I'm going to pick the one I want, which is going to be the latest version, Darwin AMD 64 package installer. That's the one I want. And let's install that. Okay, install. Sure. All right, while that's installing, let's see what you guys are saying over here in the comments. Aha, Nicola is back. Welcome, Nicola. Good to see you here. Andrei Smirnov. All right. Some familiar faces. Welcome out, everybody. Now, who here is actually using an M1 machine? Does anybody have one of these to use? And does anybody use it with Go currently? And Nil RE asks a very important question. What is Go's advantage? I'm guessing that it's a question relative to things like, I don't know, JavaScript maybe, or some other interpreted languages like Python. Well, that's the answer right there. It's interpreted. The JavaScript and Python are not going to be compiled. And Go is actually compiled, so it's going to be much faster. Go and Rust can be compared, and Go and C++ can be compared, but those languages are in the same realm. So we do have some folks that have M1s already. Interesting. And some folks are just thinking about getting it. So, all right, this is done installing. Let's check it out. So I'm gonna see if it, yeah, good. So it's mapped already, and we're ready to go. I'm just gonna go into my code directory and make a directory for Golang. Oops. Go long, go land, and finally he gets it. I'm typing sideways, guys, so it's not easy. And now I want to get those benchmarks. So I'm going to go back here. For those of you that are just joining, if you go to golang.org/x/benchmarks, you'll get to this page. And you actually have a repo over here for on GitHub that you can clone. I'm going to do that right here. And I'm going to do git clone, get that repo down. There we go. Benchmarks. Okay. I'm also going to write all these down so that later I can just summarize all this for you. And there's a few different tests. If you read the instructions here, they'll tell you that each one of these folders that they include is a different kind of test. I want to run 2 of them today. I want to run garbage, stressing out the garbage collector, and also this JSON one. It's parsing a pretty large JSON file. So those are the 2 I'm going to run, and those are the directories right over here. There's garbage and there's JSON. And yeah, let's start with those. Okay, so I'm going to build these. I'm going to go into the garbage directory first and then run go build. Okay. So now we have the executable, which was built right here, and this is the compiled binary that we can execute here. So I'm going to do a time command and then garbage. This will give us the time that it's going to take to run this benchmark test, the official benchmark test, on the Intel box. Okay, so that's ready to go. I could run it right now, but it's more fun to do a test if we do them at the same time and if we do a race, right? Okay, I don't know. Let's do a race or let's just go. So I'm gonna go back here and set this one up first, the M1. Now I've mentioned at the beginning of the stream that I've downloaded both the AMD 64 version and the ARM64 version, which can both run here on the M1. So I want to make sure that the AMD 64 version is installed, because I was doing some tests here, so I'm gonna reinstall it. And we're just gonna do the comparison of the M1 running under Rosetta with Intel first, and then we'll do the ARM version of Go on the M1, just to get the full picture of what's happening. I have not run this test yet on the Intel box, so I don't know what's going to happen. We shall see. All right, what are y'all saying here? Folks want to see the race. All right. Makes it fun, right? Who did Docker test on M1? I did. I've got another Docker video coming up next week. And I did a live stream last week, I believe, on Docker as well. Welcome, welcome, folks. And we're almost installed here. Here we go. It's done. I'm going to keep that. And let me restart my terminal just to make sure I got the latest version here. Now, I found that on the M1, it doesn't actually map my path automatically. So I kind of have to do this manually, which is okay. So let's go to code, make directory, Golang, and I think I already have one, so I'm just gonna delete it, just so we are starting from the same spot on both of these. Okay, and I need the benchmarks. Let's clone that repo, git clone. By the way, did I mention before that I'm a pretty bad typist? Okay, so we've got the same exact directory structure now here on the M1. We're going to go to the garbage test first, and we're going to build it here. All right, right now you can see we just have the code files. We don't have the executable. So we need to build it, and I'm going to call it directly. It's in user local go bin go build. Oh, and I want to show you the versions, right? So, okay, there's the executable. It's built. And let's take a look at the versions on both of these machines. So here you can see that I'm going to be running the Darwin AMD 64 version on the M1. And here we are on the Intel box. What's the version here? Same version. So we're running the exact same version, the X64 version. And time garbage. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing here. I think it's built by now. Yes, it is. So we're gonna do time garbage. Okay, we're ready to run this. All I gotta do is hit enter at the same time. Okay, Alexander Gavrilov says hello from Russia. How old are you, Alexander? I mean, come on, that's a very personal question. Are we getting so personal here? I'm 41. All right, let's do this. Ready? Boom. I think I'm 41. I may be 42. Am I 41 or 42? I don't even know. Well, this is interesting. Okay. Not sure why this happened. Maybe some of the Go folks over there in the chat can enlighten me. Let's take a look at this. Okay, so we've got the M1. The benchmark, I didn't change any of the code. The code is as it was. So there's the benchmark. It run 1 iteration, 100 iterations, and then 5,000 iterations. And then it gives me the total time, 11.1 seconds. Okay, what about this one? This is the Intel box. Check it out. 1 iteration, 100, and then 10,000. What happened? I didn't change any of the code. Why is it giving me 10,000 here and 5,000 here? You saw me grab this repository fresh from GitHub. Could it be that they changed the code while I was cloning the repo? I don't think so. 2 days ago was the last commit, so anybody have an explanation for this? And I'd like to say that 14.8 seconds is the Intel time, but now that it says 10,000 iterations here, what the heck? This is ruining my test, folks. I was expecting this to run the same number of iterations on both of these machines. Does anybody have an explanation for this? What's going on? All right. Okay, so Lucas comes through again. It has to do with the GOMAXPROCS. Each system has a limit of concurrency routines. So, I mean, what's a fair test here? You need to set the GOMAXPROCS. Is it a fair test to utilize the full amount of procs here, or just let it do its thing, and or should I limit rather the number of processes by setting GOMAXPROCS? Okay. Well, I really would like to see this. I really like to see the same number of iterations on both machines. So we're going to need to somehow limit the number of processors here. And, all right, Lucas says you need to set the GOMAXPROCS. Now, I'm brand new to Go, so I'm not sure exactly how to do that. You know what? We're going to do both. We're going to do both. For now, I'm going to actually write this down as the result, as the first result. And I'm going to make a separate column in my sheet that's going to have the GOMAXPROCS as well. All right. So 11 seconds for ARM, x64, 14.8 over here. And, all right, let's do this test with the MaxProcs. Export GOMAXPROCS 8. Okay. I think that should do it. Yes. Thank you, folks. This is great. The joys of a live stream. Whoa. Okay. Oh, look at this, folks. The Intel box is faster at this. Well, I mean, we are running Rosetta on the ARM CPU, right? Let's just double check that. I'm going to run this here again. This is on my M1 here, and let's check the processors to make sure this is running Rosetta. Yeah, there it is. It's running Intel. Yep. So 11 seconds for that process with 5,000 iterations max on the M1 box. And then on the Intel, same number of iterations, 8.6 seconds. Interesting. All right, Lucas says, typically it is limited to the number of cores of the machine, so that the CPU isn't doing overhead of managing threads that it cannot run natively. All right. Thanks for that. Next test. I really want to check out this JSON process, so let's do that next. Let's just keep it here on the Intel box, and I'm going to back out to the JSON directory now. Okay, same idea here. I'm going to do go build, and then I'm going to do the time here, time JSON. So this test is very similar. It's just doing a slightly different job of parsing out JSON. It's a little bit longer test. All right, so we got 11.76. All right, now I'd imagine that if I wanted to get this back to the number of processors it was before to run that test, I'd set this to 16. Is that right, folks? Haha. I didn't know you could do that, Lucas. So Lucas says you also only needed to install the ARM64 version, as you can cross-compile for architectures by setting a flag. Haha. That's pretty cool. Okay, we're still on the Intel box. It's still doing 2,000 iterations anyway, even though I said GOMAXPROCS equals 16. Okay, that's fine. All right, let's go back to the M1 here. I want to see the JSON project or the JSON benchmark executed here. So we're going to build this. I'm glad there's some Go folks in the chat today. Oh, this one's doing 1000. Tricky, tricky. I guess I should have guessed that. But wait a second. On the Intel, I set GOMAXPROCS 8, and it still did 2000. 9.1 seconds here. Kind of want to have the same number of iterations on these. So if I set 8 here, let's try this test one more time. Okay, we got 2000 instead of 1000. So what's going on now? Anybody know? Why is it on the M1 it's running 1000 iterations? On the Intel it's running 2000 iterations. All right, Lucas is going to look at the source, and maybe we'll find an answer for that soon. And Aaron says 4, set it to 4. And Zeus says upgrade Go. I've just installed Go, so this is on the latest version of Go. All right, so just taking a little break. Hopefully we'll have an answer here, but you know what? Let's just try 4. Why not? Some folks are saying 4. Let's try that. Okay. Now, the question is why? Why was it 8 for one of the tests and 4 for this test? And now I need another column in my chart. So I'm going to add another column just to keep track of all these things. Okay. Cool. Shall we move on? Next test. Next test is fun. I want to try the ARM version of Go on the M1. All right, let's do that. So I'm going to go over here to my M1, and I do have the ARM version downloaded, so we're going to grab that, and I'm going to install that. Nice. We'll see. We'll see if it's going to be Zoom or if it's going to be same as Intel. I don't know. Now I do need to rebuild it. So I'm going to take a look here. Let's remove JSON. And let's go back to garbage. Remove garbage. We don't need that garbage anyway. Okay, let's make sure that I have the right version of Go here. And it's not going to do that, is it? Because I need to have the whole path. ARM64. Okay, so we are running now the ARM64 version. Shabhendu Shakar, thank you so much. Alex, try running with the help flag. This will get you the available flags, and maybe we can Customize the number of iterations. Hey, that's not a bad idea at all. Well, the help flag. I mean, these executables that I'm running are actually built, right? So I think we probably need to look at the source code for that. But let me try it. Why not? Let's go JSON and help. Hey. Oh. That is brilliant, Shakar. You have figured it out. We can do whatever. We can do all kinds of things here. We can pass in the duration, the number of runs. That's great. I feel like we have to start over now. Oh. All right. We're not going to start over. We're going to continue with this, but that's really good to know. I may do a subsequent video on this and just apply all that I've learned in this video. So thank you so much, folks, for helping me out here, and hopefully a lot of people will get this information and learn. And let's get to the actual test now. All right, so we are in garbage. Go build. Let's build some garbage. Okay, this is the final test that we're going to run today, and we're going to time the ARM build, or the ARM execution of garbage. 8.7. Okay. Well, it's not quite as fast as the Intel box with GOMAXPROCS 16. That one was 8.6, but this is 8.7, which is pretty good. Now, in comparison, when they're the same number of processors, the Intel box was 14.8. So, I mean, if you're using all the processors on the i9, it's going to be faster just by 1/10 of a second. But if you've got a box with the same number of processors, or cores I should say, then it's going to be almost twice faster. Let's do JSON. So back up here, cd JSON. Let's build this thing, and let's run it. Sano's Design says MacBook Pro M1 is 70% faster in single core and 50% faster in multi-core. Well, that would explain it. So 12.7, which is not, not that impressive for this test, I guess. Yeah, what? That's not nice. What happened? Did I mess something up? It's running ARM, sure. 12.7. That's a worse score than the x64 test. Yeah, we got 12.7 again. What happened, folks? That is really worse. I did not expect that. So just to review real quick, this test right here that I just ran, the JSON parsing test on the M1 under ARM64, under Rosetta basically, it got 9.1 seconds. But the ARM version, which I thought was going to be faster on the M1, 12.7. Don't know. They ran the same number of iterations, 2,000, so it's really strange. Well, yeah, this is a weird stream because there's definitely some questions left over. So I'm not quite sure what gives. Let's make sure I grab this time over here. So we got 1,000, wait a second, 1,000 iterations for Jason? 1,000. You know what? I'm going to do this again because I hope I didn't mess anything up. I want to make sure the number of iterations is exactly the same on both machines. So I want to set the number of procs to 8 over here and run that. So we get 2,000 iterations on both. Okay, 12.0. So just 0.7 seconds faster than the ARM box. Really interesting. Now, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's limiting it over here on the M1 box. But not what I expected. Definitely not what I expected. Ali says, first test time 8 seconds. 12 is the second time. Well, I did do 2 different tests. One is the garbage collection test, and the other one is a JSON test. So on the ARM, I got 8 seconds. And on the JSON test on the ARM, I got 12 seconds. I'll do another video on this and summarize all this so it's in a table so everybody can see. But for now, this is just the live stream. I'm testing things out, and thanks for all you folks helping out with figuring this out. Not sure what's going on here, but it's a little bit weird. Do you hear the fan? Yeah, the fan is going pretty loud. Let's read some of your comments here. All right. Shakar says, thank you for this channel. Love your content. Really appreciate that. Zeus says, which camera are you using? I'm using a Lumix. It's a Panasonic. Sloth Girl says, let's build some garbage. But I already booked off from work. That's funny. All right. 23 Airman says, Саня, привет из России. У тебя хороший контент. Спасибо большое. Giveaway. First person to remind me of the giveaway. Intratej ready. Yes, we're going to be doing a giveaway. I'm going to pick a winner for this in 24 hours on this channel. Probably going to do like a quick story about it. So let's do a vote. Should I do a Parallels giveaway or a JetBrains giveaway? I mean, nobody's sponsoring my content, so they just gave me some licenses, which is really cool. I have some licenses left over of JetBrains and Parallels. Let's do it in 24 hours. I'm going to pick a random comment from down below this video. So when this video goes live after the stream is over, it's going to go live on the channel. Just comment down below. I'll pick somebody from there. Vote on which one you want, Parallels or JetBrains. We're going to have probably a split between them. So it's going to be, hey, maybe I'll do both. You know what? I'll do one Parallels and one JetBrains. I'll do 2 drawings for this stream. There we go. Problem solved. All right, like I said, folks, I wanted to keep this short today. So, another video following up with Go coming soon. I'm gonna summarize what we've learned today, do some more tests, make sure everything is smooth, Thanks for your help, folks, and thanks to Lucas for your recommendation. This is awesome, folks, when people submit recommendations like this, not just like complaints. Why don't you ever do this or that? But this points me exactly to the benchmark so I can run it. You know, I'm a developer, but I'm not a developer of everything. I don't know all languages. This is the first time I'm trying Go. I have the M1, I have the Intel box. I'd love to try more tests on it. Let me know, give me instructions on where to find these benchmarks, and I'd be happy to run them. So this was awesome, and I appreciate the help, Lucas. I will reach out if I run into issues, which I probably will. Thanks a lot, folks, for coming and showing up. We'll do a drawing in 24 hours. See you all later.